Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Danielle here from Learn Reiki Philadelphia. I'm ready to lead you through some community distance healing today. Go ahead and like the stream if you haven't already and consider subscribing. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. And if you're watching this on the replay, you are guaranteed just as amazing and a healing a time as if you were here live. If you would like to join me live, all of the days and times are in the description below. I'm here the same days and times every week, all times on the Eastern Standard Time, which this time of the year, because we're in Eastern Daylight Time, is GMT -4. So for those of you who are here, welcome, welcome. Go ahead into the chat, list any healing requests that you have or any specific crystals you would like to work with. I'll grab some crystals and I'll start building us a crystal grid. That'll be the first half hour of our event, is building that crystal grid together. And then for about the second half hour, I will go ahead and send you distance healing from here in Philadelphia to wherever you happen to be in the world and whenever you happen to be watching this stream. So let's see what we have so far. Oh, it's so good to see you here again. I did get us some aventurine. I have a piece of aventurine here. I know you had requested it. So I will have it to put in or near the grid. I just have one piece. But yeah, everyone else, it's good to see everyone. Just to remind you, Fridays is the day I'm here twice. So I'm here right now, 4 p.m. Eastern US time, and I'll be back at 8 p.m. Eastern US time. So you can join me twice today, or once depending on your time zone, whichever's more convenient to you. Yeah. Black tourmaline apophyllite. Let me see if I have that. I did. I don't know if I still do. Nuummite and iolite I absolutely have. And aventurine. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and pop us into the crystal grid in just a moment. Before we get into the Reiki sending portion, I'll definitely explain a little bit more about Reiki, my take on it, and how it works. But for this first half where we're working with the crystals, I did want to bring in the concept of communal chi, which is the core concept to this particular method of sending over a distance. There is a concept that with energy, the more people come together with a same or similar intention, the greater the healing energy of that is magnified to make it more available to everyone. So we put that sort of understanding that is actually from Chinese medicine, is the first place I came across it. And we put it into motion here by setting our intentions and building this grid together. So not only are we just hanging out and chat and having a great time and being supportive of each other, which I super appreciate, but by doing this together, we're solidifying that concept of communal chi. We're coming here, we're looking for healing for potentially different reasons, although we find that those reasons overlap a lot more than we might expect. And we put them together in this grid that then helps share energy with us throughout the session. So let's go ahead, and I'm just going to go ahead and change up the screen here. Fantastic. So today we're going with a nice round theme. We've got a full moon tomorrow, full moon this weekend. Not only is it a full moon, we're going into a bit of an eclipse. So we're entering eclipse season where all kinds of things are guaranteed to happen. I'm going to go ahead and turn down the music on my end. And let's see. Aches and pains. Yes, if we're using nuummite, can we please have some howlite? Absolutely, 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 absolutely. So howlite is excellent for a lot of grounding and clearing, but particularly as it relates to anger and resentment, all the way to frustration and feelings of just sort of anything that's kind of bubbling up that's super unpleasant in that realm of anger, resentment, and frustration. So let's see, go ahead and move this up a bit. So we've got some white howlite, often mistaken for white turquoise. White turquoise is a beautiful healing stone, but it's not the same stone. So we've got some of that. I build my grids intuitively. Go. Overwhelmed with other people's stuff. Gotcha. Black tourmaline is going to be our friend. That's been requested, but we'll see some other things too. Some other good, like boundary stones. Hopefully, it'll help remind other people of their boundaries too. We can set that intention. Can't control others, but we can certainly set an intention. Okay, so black tourmaline. Here we go. Black tourmaline is excellent for keeping negative energy at bay, maintaining energy boundaries, just keeping other people's energy out of our field as well. It's a good stone for keeping good neighbors. And speaking of which, I live in Philadelphia, hence the name of the business. And when I was living in South Philadelphia, I had this beautiful living room in this large house that it was a communal house. Lots of us lived there. And there was this beautiful room on the second floor that we used as a living room, like a secondary living room. All the musical instruments were in there, a lot of the craft supplies, video games, TVs. No one was ever in there. And the reason was we had it overlooked a terrace or like a patio to some neighbors who were not the nicest. It was rough neighborinos. And so I thought, what's the greatest way to help mitigate this? I actually made a curtain because the other thing is we had a lot of sunlight coming in, and during the summer it could be really hot. So I took a bunch of black tourmaline and I crushed it up. I crushed it up in a bag with a hammer. And I actually, as I sewed this lovely curtain, I put some stripes in it, and inside of those stripes were the pieces of black tourmaline. And it worked like a charm. We started hanging out in that room so much more. I didn't tell anyone what was in that curtain, but it definitely worked. Worked like a charm. Communication, focus with completing writing tasks. Absolutely, we can support that. So let's see. Black tourmaline, nuummite, and iolite. I don't think I have apophyllite. I'll keep looking, but if I don't have that, is there something you would like in place of it? Either by specific stone or by the healing intention you're looking for. Nuummite and iolite, let me grab those now. Aches, pains, communication, focus on completing writing tasks, other people's stuff. Yep, loving it so far. Okay, welcome in everyone. If you can go ahead and like the stream, it super helps. If you're not in a good place to kind of reach over and do that, totally understood. Here we go. We have our iolite and our nuummite. So I'm just going to go over these. So this is nuummite. It's only mined in Greenland. And if you look at it, it's this matte black. It's super black. It doesn't reflect a lot of light. So it just looks super dark on camera. But if you look at it as I move my hand, you might see these glints of golden light. That is what's known as labradorescence, which is not labradorite as a stone. It just reflects light in the same way. So nuummite is thought to be excellent for shadow healing. So the parts of ourselves that we don't like to acknowledge or that are a little bit harder to kind of bring up to work with, our past karmic healing, things like that too. And here we are. That shows the labradorescence beautifully. This labradorescence is thought to be aligned with the concept of as we dig deeper into our darkness, we find more light. So it's excellent for inspiration and getting getting spurred on to make more positive change in our life. So it's like out of the darkness comes the bright light. So out of the unreflective darkness comes this super reflective golden light. For iolite, this is excellent for the third eye and everything related to the third eye. It's very balancing for the third eye, but it also helps open it up and open it up in a very unique and balanced way. It's especially good because it's also a little bit more blue than purple. It's excellent for being able to communicate what we get when we're getting those intuitions to be able to communicate it to others. So a lot of mediums will work with this stone if you're looking to better communicate what you're getting from spiritual work, like channeling work or mediumship work or tarot reading or just explaining your spiritual experience. Iolite can be wonderful for conveying that. So we'll bring some iolite in here. Actually, put that here and here. Wonderful. So communication, for sure, we've got that there. Focus on completing writing tests. Lots of communication stuff. Red tiger eye, copper aventurine. Let's see. Let's get that red tiger eye. That copper. Red tiger eye is deeply protective. So for those of you who requested um, other people energy and kind of keeping it away and just feeling overwhelmed, this can be wonderful. Especially right now, we are going into one heck of a full moon. Philadelphia is aware. Oh my goodness, the streets are wild right now. Please be careful. Please be careful. Red tiger eye is extremely protective from not great energy. Works really well with black tourmaline. It's also excellent for circulation, everything related to the cardiac system, and for manifesting finances, especially if it's like an emergency situation, you need it right away. So excellent, especially for things like overwhelm, feeling too much of other people's energy. Really, really good. Really, really good for that. It's deeply grounding and really does help bring a sense of balance to a lot of intense energy work. There we go. Okay. Copper helps to enhance the flow of energy, particularly things like Reiki. So I'm just going to go ahead and put those here opposite each other so they're kind of shining through this grid. And we definitely still have room for more requests if anyone has them. Aventurine is excellent for, this is green aventurine. This helps us to see a greater potential for ourselves. It's also excellent for self-confidence, self-love, self-respect. Sure, let's do one too many. Yes, we do. Okay. Writing tests. Rhodonite, I absolutely have. Rhodonite is wonderful for love in all its ways, accepting love and a new version of it, especially if you've done a lot of healing work around relationships and how we accept love and how we give love, love around grief, love in spite of grief, loving through grief. Rhodonite is an excellent stone for all of those things. Sometimes it's more pink, sometimes it's more black. These are very old specimens. These were mined in like the 1960s, if not before. The ones that you'll find now are far more black than pink most of the time. I actually wear rhodonite. Uh, this is crematory jewelry. This has my cat's ashes in it. So that's how I work with it. Rhodonite can teach us a lot about love. Oh, thank you for that. Do, 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 do. Got everything asked for specifically except, I think, aches and pains. Aches and pains for sure. Let's go with some celestite, and I think we might have some. I'm actually going to look up. Been trying to integrate, I always try to integrate more perspectives into the way I look at crystals. Crystals are wonderful allies in all the ways that we work with them. And just like anything, new perspective is always super helpful. So celestite is one I use often for healing aches and pains. It's also wonderful for connecting with your angel guides. So let's go ahead and sprinkle some of this through. And then we'll look up another perspective on healing aches and pains and see what kind of a crystal suggestion we can get today. There we go. And then we have our aventurine that I will work in some kind of way. Okay, so aches and pains. Let's see what Cassandra Eason's take is on it. This is the new book that I've been working with most. Do, 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 do. She doesn't have pain. Let's see what other words she might have for it. Let's try here. There we go, pain. She also works with celestite, and she recommends lapis. Lapis works well with iolite, so let's dive into some lapis. I have worked with lapis before for pain, not too frequently, but let's do it. I love that new take on it. Let's see, what else does she go with? Anything new to me? Maybe. Let's see. Let's go ahead with the lapis and add that in. Lapis is wonderful for connecting with intuition as well, but it's also excellent, like I said, for, as we were talking about, for aches and pains. Absolutely. It can be wonderful too for communicating. As we work with lapis, it can help with like divine communication. So much like iolite, which is why it works with it so well, and especially for communicating in a really It's deeply associated with kings and priests and things like that. So think of like oration and like proclamation kind of speech and speaking and communication can be wonderful for that, for like bringing your message forward and giving it some more oomph. So how can we add this? Let's do this. Lapis that tends to be more blue is usually, but not always, from Afghanistan. That tends to be more white or gray tends to be from Chile in South America. Let's do this. Oh, there we go. Where else can we add some? Let's put it around this celestite here. And outside of these guys. Additionally, if you look at the gold that's in lapis, if you can see it there, that's actually pyrite inclusions. There we go. Okay, so there's our grid, the basics of our grid. Thank you all so much for your contributions to that. Like I said, the communal chi, totally at play, super important. And thank you for helping put that together. As always, certain stones, including this nuummite, are available in my crystal shop, which is linked in the description below. There's where you can learn all about my online Reiki classes, uh, sessions and tarot readings with me, as well as my social media, all that good stuff in the description. You can also find, if you're watching this on the replay, I always enter the names of all the stones in the grid. Uh, as written down. So if you are looking to source them locally, you can see how to spell them, because I know that is a little tricky with the spoken word and how these work. And let's see what we want our center stone to be. You all can get to vote on that in the chat while I explain what Reiki is. So let's see, what would we like in the middle? Let's get some chill out stones. So here are your choices. One is Unikite, which is, as we see from this pink and mossy green, this stone is excellent for the heart and just calming and coming into ourselves as we do some other really deep work, as would be suggested by the other stones in here. We're doing some deep work, we're doing some deep diving, and a lot of us really are, given what's going on planetarily. So Unikite is an option. The other option is chrysocolla, which is also indicated for pain, as well as peace and letting go and transitions. It's deeply connected with other stones, including copper. It's very close to copper in terms of how it's mined, so it does work alongside copper really well, as well as turquoise, which is why it kind of looks like turquoise. But it works really well for the heart as like a gentle balm for the heart, as well as for physical pain release. So let me know in the comments. Go ahead and reply with which one you would like to see in the center for our grid. So without further ado, those of you who are new, welcome in. Go ahead and consider subscribing. If you do so with notifications, you'll always know when I'm going live. You can always request in the chat if you would like specific healing stones, as you just saw. But what on earth is Reiki? So Reiki, the type that I practice, is Usui Reiki. And Reiki, spiritually guided life energy, which is what that fairly literally translates to, The style of it that I work with and the understanding underneath it comes from Japan. And the understanding of this energy is that everyone has access to it. It is abundant and just pure, raw, good energy that our body, mind, and spirit already know how to work with. Our body, mind, and spirit just look at it as almost like fresh, clean water. It makes it easier to let go of the things that are sort of gunking us up, and it makes it a lot easier to fill in any voids. Any place where we're depleted, it helps support us. Every particular Reiki session that you might experience, and even if you watch this particular one on the replay more than once, it'll feel similar but different because it depends so much on what we need in that moment, that as we change, as we shift, as we set intentions, as we find new needs, the quality of the Reiki and how it is, for lack of a better term, metabolized within us will shift depending on that. Reiki energy is seen in most cultures all the way back, and we'll see different techniques of working with it and the techniques of sending it over extended distances going back thousands of years in various different places. Usui's method was created in the 1920s, and it was created at a time when Japan was undergoing radical change leading up to World War II, which we know chronologically happened pretty quickly thereafter. With the sign of the times, yeah, everyone worked with energy healing in the home. It's something that was passed down from family to family. Everyone has access to this energy, or so it is really thought in Shinto, which is the indigenous spirituality of Japan. Everyone does some form of palm healing in the home. At the same time, they probably don't know who Usui was. He created this method to be a simple method that was secular, as it needed to be in Japan at that time, because part of that change was eliminating other spiritualities, other challenges, really anything that would distract someone from doing exactly what the emperor wanted. Uh, so this particular technique was meant to empower people in a way that was spiritual but not religious. And so I feel like that's a big part of why it resonates with us so much. We're connecting in the West, we're reconnecting with our spiritual roots. A lot of those roots have been sort of killed off and died off given colonialism and things like that. So over time, we've sort of lost a lot of those connections, yet we still feel them. This technique, being so secular, allows us to connect with it in a way that doesn't have to base itself in religion or organized religion in any way, unless you sort of insert your cosmology here. The energy is all around us, flowing through all of us, and all of us have access to it. The practice of Reiki is connecting to that energy and directing it to yourself and others to better support their greatest healing good and any healing intentions they may have. So that's essentially what I'm doing today, connecting with that energy that's already flowing through all of us and just directing more of it to you, so your body, mind, and spirit can best benefit from them. At any point in time, you can go ahead and think of an intention and just let it go to the universe, and it'll be supported whether you're here in this particular time or watching this on the replay. During your session, this is all about you. So go ahead and relax and get comfortable. Move around if you need to, get a blanket if you need to, whatever feels right. And if just simple relaxation and eyes closed isn't what feels like this time is for, combine it with, being on the treadmill, your jog, stretching a little bit, painting, poetry, whatever works for you. This is all about your self-care and supporting yourself to be balanced and healed and whole as possible. During this time, you don't have to focus on anything, and you don't have to keep a clear mind. Although if you want to, you certainly may. But this is really just for you. You might feel sleepy, you might feel energized, you might feel like you're getting these really good daydreams. But are they daydreams? Are they something more? You can absolutely be open to intuition, or just have a great place to sort of mentally parse things out. Whatever the case is, if you feel like your mind is distracted or if you're not quite sure, just take a deep breath. Come right back, and if the same things come up, go ahead and hear them out. In about a half an hour, you'll hear my voice come back in and invite you to take a deep breath in and out and stretch a little bit, totally come back to the space you're in. And at that time, I will invite you to ask any questions you may have. You can share them in the chat. You can share them with me, especially if you're watching this in the future. You can reach out to me through social media, or you can go ahead and put it in the comments, and I'll do my best to come back and answer them for you. Again, thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your healing piece today. Definitely hope to meet you soon if you're not here live, and we'll go ahead and get started. So we have a winner in the chat, and it is clearly chrysocolla. So chrysocolla it is. I'm going to go ahead and put that on healing pedestal there. Good choice. And we'll go ahead and we'll let the unakite just charge up on the altar there. And again, thank you all so much for making your healing requests part of this and sharing in the communal chi and contributing so much to what we're about to share. So go ahead, get comfy. I'm going to turn up the music and I'm going to go ahead and send. Enjoy your session, and I will see you all in just about a half an hour. I invite you now to take a deep breath. Take a moment and check in with your body. Wiggle, stretch, bend, move. Thank you so much for being here with me today. It was an honor and a pleasure to share that healing with all of you. And whoof, I could feel those vibes. That was intense. Thank you all for helping contribute to the communal chi. If anyone has any questions or anything to share, please feel free to go ahead and use the chat. And if you're watching this on the replay, I invite you to go ahead and use the comments or reach out to me through social media, and I'll be more than happy to meet you there. I also have a free community Discord that you can join up. The link is in the description. Thank you so much for being here. I'll give you all a few moments to come back. I know that was a lot to move through. And while you're doing that, I'll just gently read off the crystals we used today, which again, I will list in the description. Yeah, absolutely. You're so welcome, and thank you for being part of the space. Thank you so much for being here. You're absolutely so welcome. Today we had chrysocolla, iolite, nuummite, lapis, red tiger eye, celestite, howlite, aventurine, rhodonite. I believe I pointed out lapis, copper, black tourmaline. Again, thank you all so much for being here, and I wish you an abundance of healing wherever and whenever you happen to be. I'll be back again this evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And as always, Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Thursdays at 8 a.m. And then, of course, this time, 4 p.m. Fridays. An honor and a pleasure as always. So I'm Danielle Stimpson with Learn Reiki Philadelphia. Again, you can learn more about me, online Reiki classes with me, and all that good stuff at the description below. Thank you for being here. I wish you an abundance of health and healing today and every day. Go ahead and take care of yourself. I will be available in the comments for several more minutes, and I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. Again, have a beautiful day. Thank you for spending this time with me, and take care.